Among the many virtues of the Kingdom Hearts franchise is that, at its core, it's a story about opposites, and the way that the many characters are found in the middle of such dichotomies. Across the vast Disney worlds, the captivating story, the convoluted plot, and the engaging gameplay rest a constant pull towards one extreme or another of a world that begins showing very few morally grey elements but ends up transitioning to a more complex tapestry of opposite forces that serve to showcase the clash of the light and the darkness. Today in Rebel Culture, we will explore the concept of duality in Kingdom Hearts, and its relationship to the concepts of light and darkness in the story. So strap in for an analysis on light, darkness, goodness, evil, nobodies, and heartless. If you feel like you're enjoying this content, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's jump into it. The world of Kingdom Hearts, or I should say worlds, is dominated by two broadly defined forces, the power of light and the power of darkness. The reasoning behind this is somewhat vague, but seems to stem from the notion inherent in humanity of our own moral compromise. Kingdom Hearts is a game painfully aware of the fact that no one gets through life without committing actions that, while looking back, we can clearly see were wrong. The force that regulates this element of the human condition is called darkness, while the more pure representation of those times in our life that we can judge as having been correct choices are in essence the power of light. Within the lore of this game, the essence of darkness and light are both natural elements that, while opposite in themselves and constantly forced to clash, define each other and are therefore fundamental threads of the fabric of that world. These two forces are so primordial that a clash between them, essentially a merger of both of their energies, is a condition for the creation of the Keyblade, a weapon of tremendous power capable of unlocking the eldritch power of Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts in itself is another very loosely defined concept in this series, which is a little bit frustrating for it to be the title of the series, but essentially we can think of Kingdom Hearts as the lump sum of all hearts in the many worlds of this universe, essentially a repository of both light and darkness. Since, as we mentioned, there is light and darkness in all of us. The force of light is largely considered to be the safest power to wield, seeing as that it has not been known to corrupt nearly as much as its opposite. Light grants fundamental power to the user, and here I am referring to actual physical power that the user can will to fight, and it is born out of the feelings that we would associate with desirable attributes like sacrifice, friendship, and the desire to protect those that we love. Sora stands largely as a perfect representation of a character that belongs to the light. This association can never be 100% guaranteed though, since Sora remains a human and therefore cannot exorcise himself of all of the darkness in his heart. You can help in removing a bit of darkness from our hearts by subscribing to this channel if you're enjoying this video. We have tons of content like this one and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Thank you, and now back to the video. The opposite of light is of course darkness, a source of tremendous power that must be wielded carefully at risk of one's own will being submitted to it, instead of becoming a tool to be used to achieve one's own desires. Darkness could largely be considered to afford a much grander power to its wielder than light. We could see this in the way that Riku dramatically increases its power level while merely tapping into the darkness. But, as mentioned before, it is also a riskier alternative. I think it bears thinking of darkness as a force of nature removed from morality, and therefore as an energy born from selfish hearts rather than evil itself. Meaning that the desire for power as an end would call the darkness, while the same desire for power, if it were to be sought to defend someone else, would call light. Riku stands as a paragon to the greyness of a world, drenched in both light and darkness. Note that there are many characters that represent these forces in the totality much better, like Vanitas, a being made purely of darkness, or the Princesses of Heart, being literally beings as close as perfect light as it is possible in this world. Riku is first tempted by the seductive power of the darkness in the first game, to escape the asphyxiating world of the Destiny Isles and escape towards the grander stage of the many Disney worlds. Riku submits his body and soul to that force that, in offering him power, takes from him everything else. Eventually, thanks to the light of Sora and their friendship, Riku is able to return to his senses and begin to walk, as he calls it, the way to dawn, meaning a path away from darkness, but probably never as much as Sora. This analysis also allows us to create a sort of hierarchy of beings across these two opposing forces. At the most light, we have characters like the Princesses of Heart, people like Kairi, who belong to the light and are essentially deified as being removed from any hold of the darkness. Additionally, Ventus's character is also a being of pure light, at least descriptively, since Xehanort managed to remove the darkness from his heart and thereby create Vanitas. Some people refer to Ventus as maybe the only prince of heart in the story. In the middle, next to the princesses and princes, we can find characters like Sora, a person on whom the darkness still could conceivably have a hold, but very much tilted towards the light. In between them walk characters like Riku and Terra, both very much fighters for the light, but compromised by the power that the darkness held over them once. A stain that is often portrayed as an unalterable original sin. I believe that Terra is closer to the darkness than Riku is, mainly because he remained a slave to Xehanort longer than Riku did to Ansem. Also, this is not clearly stated, but I do believe that the hold of the darkness is stronger the older characters get. So, since Riku was a kid when he fell for Maleficent's temptation, while Terra was at least a teenager, the hold of darkness on him was that much more enduring. Past the characters walking the way of dawn, we can find the opposite to Sora, meaning characters who might still have some light in their hearts, but are doing everything they can to harbor darkness. I believe the Organization 13 is somewhere across this spectrum, with Xehanort being its highest representative. Though I would also understand an argument for Ansem Seeker of Darkness as being more drenched in darkness than his counterpart. Finally, I believe that Vanitas is the only character made of pure darkness, at least descriptively. When he was ripped away from Ventus's heart, the part of the young boy that was darkness was separated, and he morphed into the character we know as Vanitas. Since it was pure darkness that was removed from Ventus's heart, it stands to reason that while characters like Ansem Seeker of Darkness and Xehanort are like 99% guided by darkness, Vanitas must be the whole 100%. The duality of light and darkness in Kingdom Hearts therefore stands as two fundamental forces that are bound to clash for eternity, since selfish beings will naturally seek the power to dominate others, for they believe themselves to be superior to them, and they will always find the source of power in darkness. While selfless beings willing to protect their friends will always find comfort and strength in the light. Sora is known for saying that he does not need a weapon, that his friends are his power. If everything we analyze here today is even remotely true, this is a literally factual statement, since the very selflessness of our protagonist is what pushes him towards the light, and away from the solipsism of the darkness. So, remember to be aware of both the light and darkness inside of your heart, and strive to do better. If not every day, since the pull of darkness sometimes is just too strong, at least most days. We might not know whether Kingdom Hearts is light or darkness, but we can work on making our hearts slightly lighter, extinguishing the darkness the only way possible, with a gentle but consistent spark. Thank you for watching another Rebel Culture video. If you enjoyed this video, I am sure you will love our video on the existential tragedy of man-made Pokémons. And if you like Disney, you could check out our phase 1 of a Disney cinematic universe. So thank you for watching, liking and subscribing to Rebel Culture, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!